Okay, everybody, welcome to the show. This is the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. I am Nick Nightmare, and we are live on YouTube for our Smackdown Live review. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to hit that like button while you're here. Subscribe if you are not already a subscriber to the channel, and I want to thank you for joining us. Smackdown was very good tonight. All in all, very, very well put together show. Two fantastic bookend matches. The beginning and the end of the show, I thought, was very good as far as the matches were concerned and the segments that they opened with. But before we get into that, as we will do every single Tuesday from now on, we're going to hit some 205 Live. Man, what a show they had tonight. The main event, which I thought was going to be kind of lackluster, totally almost took my breath away. TJ Perkins and Rich Swann put on one hell of a contest, something that would have fit perfectly right into the Cruiserweight Classic. It was fan-fucking-tastic. I could not believe my eyes. The show opened up with Drew Gulak, who I'm not always, I don't understand him too much. Like, he's this guy from Philly, and he looks really weird, and he's got this gladiator thing going on, and I want to like it. But, I don't know, maybe it's the name, Gulak. Drew Gulak. It doesn't really roll off the tongue. You know what I'm saying? It's weird to me. But he faced off against my favorite little dude, which I am regretting I forgot to put him in my little layout here. Jack Gallagher, man. He is so weird. But I absolutely love his presentation. I love his match style, the way he wrestles in the ring. And in wrestling, as wrestling fans, we might want to be placed in a hold just to see what it feels like. Like most of us who love Bret Hart would want to feel a sharpshooter just to be put in that hold by them. And I need to be put in this fucking pretzel lock because I don't believe for 1 minute that these guys can't get out. And that's the only thing I get awkward about it. I feel uncomfortable when these guys are all wrapped up in their stupid little ball in the ring and he's kicking them in the ass, and I feel like they could just, flip their fucking hands out of the thing and roll out, and I don't know. I don't think it's physically possible to do that, but I would have to be placed in the hold to find out. So if any of you guys know how to do the pretzel lock, and you want to meet up with me and wrap me up in it, I would be more than happy to see what that shit is all about, because I don't buy it, not for a minute. We also had Lindsay Dorado on the show. We had a very well put together 205 Live. If you took this show and you took random WWE superstars and placed them in this exact same show, right at the exact same way, but put any wrestlers from the main roster on this show and into these storylines, and you would have a fantastic fucking Raw. You would have a fantastic SmackDown. Like, SmackDown's been good consistently, and we're going to get to that, and Raw is shit each and every week, as we know. But whoever put together this show and wrote the show, the pacing of the show, the little added storyline of Noam Dar, who's, I think, secretly attracted to Alicia Fox, who wants Cedric Alexander. And I love the drama of it. Like, he's being kind of creepy in a way, but he's also, I think, just playing a mind game to try to get underneath the skin of Cedric Alexander, because these two are going to come to blows eventually, because that's what wrestling's all about. And I loved it. I love 205 Live. I hate that the crowd fucking leaves. And it makes perfect sense. I mean, think about it. If you were a guy like me, you're there with your family. Your wife's with you, your kids are with you. It's Tuesday. Your kids got school. You got to get up and go to work in the morning. If your kids aren't invested and you're not invested and you don't know who these guys are, because the average fan is not me. You know, the average fan does not watch the CWC, does not watch the WWE Network, but they don't know these guys, they don't care. And I can almost relate, because even watching it the way they present it to us on Tuesday nights, we have SmackDown Live, which features the premier talent of the company. And then we get an extra added hour with almost, I don't want to call them nobodies, because they're not nobody to me, but to the average fan, these are nobodies. They don't know anything about them, and they're not going to sit there for another hour and have to fight their way out of the arena and sit in that traffic to get out of the parking lot, to just sit in traffic probably on the Parkway on the way home, especially if you're here in New York. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. The Belt Parkway is always jammed no matter what time of day, and especially during an event. And I know I'm going to be in it in just a couple of weeks, as I'm going to a live event with my best friends over into the Barclays Center, going to the holiday tour over there, and hope to get some pictures and maybe do some little live stuff on the channel from there if I could get away with that. But more on that to come in the next couple of shows. And all in all, as I said, 205 Live, fucking great show. Absolutely loved it. And we're going to move on to SmackDown. Now, SmackDown tonight, let's get back to our blue screen here, was not overly abundant with fantastic moments, but we had two tremendous matches, and the main event being the best match I might have seen all this week, the Fatal 4-Way match set up between The Miz, Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, and Luke Harper. Yes, Luke Harper, who just came out of nowhere and decided that he's going to interject himself into the World Heavyweight title hunt. It seemed weird to me when the lights went out at the beginning of the show as they were announcing this whole thing, and you knew the Wyatts were coming. I thought when the lights came up it was going to be Bray or Randy, either or. Pick your fucking poison. But it wasn't. It was Luke Harper. And he's the only one in the Wyatt family that's not wearing a title, even though they're using the Freebird rule and you can have any combination of the two. You know, it doesn't matter. But I think in the back of my mind, I was hoping that they were going to let us believe that maybe we're going to get to see Luke Harper challenge for the title. Maybe some shenanigans by the Wyatt family. Maybe not. And as the night will go on, I will let you know that that is definitely not the direction that they're going. It made me hopeful for a lot of different possibilities. And the one possibility I didn't want to see again was Dean Ambrose, because the winner of this Fatal 4-Way would go on and get a title match on the December 27th, last SmackDown Live of the year against the Phenomenal One, AJ Styles. And I didn't want to see Dean Ambrose there again. I've seen it enough already. Even though the last 2 weeks he's been very good, his intensity has been ramped up. He's been a lot more crazy, and that's what a lunatic should be. He should be fucking crazy. He shouldn't just be goofing around with James No Chin Ellsworth. And that's another thing. I was all for it, but he's too important to the main event, and he's being focused on almost more than the title, much like The List on Monday Night Raw. So James Ellsworth is the fucking List. He's over. The crowd loves him, but he's being placed in the wrong spot on the card. Like, he made his mark. Now he should be right down at the bottom with all the other guys, like the Apollo Cruzes and all these other people that are waiting their turn. And we saw Apollo Cruz for a blip tonight. And it was good to know that he still is collecting a paycheck and that he's actually around. But I don't know why they're not using him no more. We had a great promo package as well for Baron Corbin. He didn't wrestle on the show, but they had this very impressive little video snippet of him and some snarling wolves and shit. Yeah, it's great. But this is the same guy that we've seen lose to Kalisto and has done absolutely nothing, much to my surprise, since coming to SmackDown. He had a squash feud with the aforementioned Apollo Crews once the brand split initially happened. And he ended up beating Apollo Crews, and then Apollo Crews faded away. And where's Baron Corbin? He's fighting this guy this week, this guy next week. He hates the cruiserweights. He's anti-establishment, always going up against the grain of Daniel Bryan and Shane. I don't know. I just don't get it. Why these guys aren't in matches and aren't given a more prominent role on the show, I don't know. But this show was, as I said, we had that main event match, man. The Fatal 4-Way. And my hope for this match, I said, was that we wouldn't see Ambrose, but my hope was we would see either Luke Harper or Dolph Ziggler. More, I wanted Luke Harper. But that didn't happen. So once Luke Harper was eliminated, I was rooting very hard for The Miz because I would for Ziggler because I would much rather see Dolph Ziggler versus AJ Styles than Dean Ambrose again. And I know AJ Styles already fought and beat Ziggs, but I don't care. It's something I would much rather see. I don't want to keep seeing the same shit over and over again. I just don't. That's one of the problems with Raw. That's what they're not realizing with the women's division. It's not about Sasha. It's not about Charlotte on a personal level. It's just rinse and repeat. You know? Chew, regurgitate, spit it out, and then eat it again. And after a while, that's fucking gross. And that's what it feels like to watch Monday Night Raw. It's just fucking disgusting. And at least SmackDown gives you little morsels at a time, and they're tasty. You know, they're not out of this world, but they're tasty. You know what was out of this world? The women's angle tonight was great. Alexa Bliss comes out. There's some nobody in the ring. They didn't even get to announce her name, I don't think. If they did, I either wasn't paying attention, or I just totally didn't hear it, or I didn't care enough to listen to what her name was. Some lovely young lady, I'm sure. But Alexa Bliss comes out and just pretty much laughs in her face like, what are you? It's like wrestling a trash bag. I'm not doing this. She's beneath me and whatever. She's getting in her face and she's doing her heel thing. And then she mashes her in the mouth. Let's try that again. I don't think that's a word. Is that even a word? Unsuspectfully? I don't think that's a word. I think I just totally fucked that up. But without her knowing, the forearm came and smashed her in the mouth. Wow, it's a lot more fun doing this live, because when you fuck up, and there's no hiding it. And we're just going to laugh about it together, unsuccessfully. There's a much better word for that, but if I'm going to be honest, I'm a little elevated at the moment, and I can't think of it. So we're going to move on. Alexa Bliss mashes this girl in the mouth, throws her to the outside, and then, of course, we get Becky Lynch coming out. Little straight fire, Irish little spit fire coming out and talking well. I understood every single word that came out of her mouth. For once. Very clear, very eloquent. I think she's been working on her English and it came off fantastic. She tells Alexa, hey, last week I wanted to fight you. You said you weren't ready to fight. This week, you said you want to fight. You're in your ring gear. Look at me. I'm beautiful and I'm in my ring gear. Take a look. And she charges the ring. Alexa runs away, true to what a heel would do. A heel champion would run and try to avoid this match at all cost. And that's exactly what she did. She's like, sure, I'll give you your match, but not tonight. She takes off, starts raking her way down the rampway, and then here comes the money. And he makes Alexa Bliss defend her title tonight. And this was the second best match of the night. These girls put on a great show. It was well timed. There was no botches. Everything was great. And the finish was great. And Alexa Bliss takes a bump to the outside after a very, very well contested matchup between the two and feigns a knee injury. Starts walking up the ramp, walking away as she gets counted out. Giving Becky Lynch the win, but retaining her beloved Women's Championship. I loved it. That is wrestling. That's how you do it. You can have matches but you don't get clean finishes, and you get teases, and you make the heel force the good guy to work harder, and you avoid and you take every little shortcut that you can to keep that title on your shoulder, and that's how you do it. And Alexa Bliss doesn't have a little lackey or a minion or a manager to keep interfering from the outside. She's a solo heel, and she's fucking brilliant. She knows her role, and she will not shut her mouth, and she's the best heel going today. And Becky Lynch very much impressed me tonight with her mic skills. She's always impressive in the ring. Almost had this match won, and Alexa Bliss knew it. And that's why she did what she did. Alexa Bliss, still our champion, but Becky Lynch gets the win tonight in what was the second best match on the card. The Tag Team Battle Royal? Wow, that was terrible. I mean, until we got it whittled down a little bit. It picked up at the end, and we had some real controversial spots. We had Rhino thrown to the outside, and then Heath Slater coming to take some guy out. Misfire, and takes Rhino and knocks his own partner, eliminating him to the outside. Rhino was pissed about this and storms away. Heath Slater pleading with him, telling him, I didn't do it on purpose. I'm sorry, it was an accident. Rhino didn't want to hear it. We have to see what develops out of that. They've been teasing the breakup of these two, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is just more fuel to the fire and that this is what they're going to do and break up Beauty and the Man-Beast, unfortunately. And in the end, we're going to fast forward because there was a lot, there's a lot of guys in this match. And if your partner was eliminated, that doesn't mean that the tag team is eliminated, which was good. I was hoping that they were going to pull that one goes out, the other one goes out bullshit like they do sometimes in elimination tags or in Survivor Series. And this was a true elimination battle royal. And right down to the end, we had Tyler Breeze and I believe it was Connor from the Ascension left with Zack Ryder. And Zack Ryder would overcome and win the match for his team. However, if you were paying attention, you will see that Zack Ryder almost could not get up, or he could at least not sit up straight, and he was grimacing very much in his face and seemed to be in a whole shitload of pain. And I think Zack Ryder's hurt, everybody. So don't expect the Hype Bros to be getting this title opportunity anytime soon, as I believe Zack Ryder is the next one to bite the dust, and he's going to be on the disabled list. Maybe just for a couple of weeks or so. Maybe it's just a stinger. I don't know. Maybe it's something worse, because go back and watch it if you don't believe me, man. Rewind your DVRs or go watch it on SmackDown Live on the WWE Network replay or the Hulu replay, although they might edit it out, because it was clear to see that this guy was in pain at the end of the match. When he pulled Connor over in that Hurricane Rana over the top rope to make the final elimination, I think there was just too much weight and he might have pulled something. Hopefully he didn't tear anything and he won't be out for a long time. But smart money is on that Zack Ryder's going to be out, you guys. So let's see. What else did we have tonight on SmackDown that's worth talking about? I think that's pretty much it. I mean, they set up nothing towards the Royal Rumble, really. They're hyping the last episode of the year by making this main event match the Fatal 4-Way for the number one contender spot. We didn't have Bray and Randy, which I was surprised. I don't remember seeing them. If I missed it, I may have missed it. I was spending a little time with my family in the middle, but I don't remember seeing or hearing them. Let's talk about commentary, though, for a second, because JBL has to go. JBL is fast becoming my least favorite person in the company. It was Jerry the King Lawler, because as much respect and love as I got for the King, he just reached this point now that he doesn't fit. And when he was doing the pre-show, as I've made mention of many times on this podcast, even before we went to video here, I couldn't stand him on the pre-show, just being a stand-up comedian and not taking the show seriously and using it as a platform to bully poor Scott Stanford. We be a star. Jerry the King Lawler, don't be a fucking bully. Be a star. You trump that campaign, but then that's all you do is highlight people bullying people. In any case, Jerry the King Lawler had to go, and finally, he's off TV. He's not out of the company. And JBL, you don't have to be out of the company, bro. It's just time to get off the goddamn announce booth because you're terrible. You are almost as bad as Michael Cole. I won't put you that bad, but you're almost there. You gotta go, man. Time is up. He's horrible. Everything he says is just nonsense. And for him to have the balls, even if it's scripted, to keep going at Mauro Ranallo, who can talk JBL out of his fucking pants. Mauro Ranallo is a world-class announcer. He's been in New Japan. He's done this all over the world. He wasn't just handed this job because he was an ex-wrestler with nothing to do. And if I'm being honest, JBL's first run as an announcer was great. But all the shtick that he did in the early 2000s isn't working now. And nobody cares what your opinion is. And the same holds true for David Otunga. I don't even want to say his name correctly. I'm not even going to correct myself because it doesn't... He irks me to no end. He sounds like he's 12. Sounds like a 12-year-old kid on the commentary. He is supposedly Harvard educated, but everything that comes out of his mouth is fucking stupid. Absolutely fucking stupid. And I can't deal with it. He just is horrible. So him and JBL on the same announce table at the same time is just bringing this show down. If you remove these two assholes, yes, both of them, two assholes, gone, and you leave us with Mauro Ranallo and Todd, whatever it is, that would be fucking great. Phillips reminds me of a young Vince McMahon behind the desk. Vince McMahon was the voice of the WWE throughout my childhood. When I heard him speak, it was synonymous with the action in the ring. And his rapport with Jesse the Body Ventura is legendary. And that same chemistry is mimicked on NXT with Corey Graves and Phillips. Probably the best two-man team they had. But they have to keep interjecting this third man into the announce team. And I don't know why that is. So we got Mauro Ranallo and Corey Graves. Fantastic pairing for 205 Live. And then you add Austin Aries to throw in that real heel announce guy. That's the way broadcasting is supposed to be done. This broadcast team on SmackDown is the worst thing that we have on SmackDown at all. And it makes my ears hurt while my eyes are finally happy. I mean, the same holds true a little bit on Raw because Cole is just terrible. And I could deal with Byron Saxton. I could deal with him because his role is to be a goofball. And I could deal with that because Corey Graves is the star of Monday Night Raw's announce team. He makes me laugh. Everything he says is insightful and knowledgeable about the business. He knows what he's talking about. And he plays that Jesse the Body, Bobby the Brain Heenan announcer better than anybody on the roster right now. SmackDown Live was very good tonight, you guys. 205 Live was fucking great tonight. And that's all we're going to talk about. Talking Smack, it started to air, and I started to watch it, and nothing really big was going down. So I said, let me get in here and get this review on, and so here we are together live on YouTube. Thank you for watching the show. I know I missed some stuff. There's guaranteed I missed some stuff because I started taking notes, and I don't like taking notes while I'm watching the show. I can't get into the show while I'm trying to write down. Like, you can't write and watch and absorb. So I end up starting with the best of intentions, and I throw that fucking shit away and start to watch the show. And the problem with that is, by the time I get through that, and then I have to sit through an hour of 205 Live, which is fresh on my mind, which is why I started it off with that. I forget. So if anything was missing, please feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section below. Hit that thumbs up, whether you want it this way or that way. I just want it hit. You know, when you hit it, it turns blue. I didn't know if you knew that. So maybe you guys are clicking it and your screen's not, doing it, because I need to see more likes. Because I like you. I like you for being with me. Whoever you guys are, I see you here. I finally see people all watching me live. Thank you for being here. If you're one of my friends in real life and I see you tomorrow, let me know and I'll thank you. I'll give you a hug. I'll give you a big Bailey hug. Because you deserve it. For being here with me tonight on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. Thank you so much, you guys. I will see you next time, and I want you to have a good night. This is my boy Blue, the Snowball Microphone. Can't sign off without saying goodnight to the Blue Ski and to you, Ski. Have a good one, you guys.